Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Tabletop Game Publishing, a Success Formula. This podcast is proudly brought to you by Hero Time, a board game manufacturer that's here to help you bring your game to life. Now, in this fifth episode, we've got something big to share. Hero Time is about to reach a major milestone. We're opening our second factory right here in the USA. Yes, you heard that right, a brand new facility that will allow us to serve creators even faster, with greater flexibility and local production options. So let's dive in and hear what Hersh, CEO of Hero Time, has to say about this exciting new chapter.
I think are pretty exciting news for both for you, Hersh, and for the company itself. So what's
Yeah,
going on with the
and for
US
people.
and for people, yeah, of
Mm.
course, and the designers and everything. So the question is what's going on with the US facility? What's new?
So, so yeah, actually today was massive news because they have been evaluating because we use one machine in our factory, right? So a one brand of machines. But I'm not so satisfied with our brand, if I'm honest. Not because it doesn't do a good job. Actually, it does an exceptional job, but just setting it up and managing the machine is too much, right? So I needed to find a machine, especially for the US, where you don't have like a professional box guy in the US, because like people don't realize it, but like when I did my tour in New Jersey to assess capabilities of factories, right? The machines that they have to glue boxes are 70 years old or 40, 50 years old, you know? It's like, listen, they're not advanced. And like if we're gonna move into the US, we want to have the best machines out there. And the reason is because it's not like in China where you have a lot of professional people who can help you. You have a few, a selected few, and usually these selected few already operate their own facilities, so they will not want to go and help you operate yours. So we needed a machine that is the easiest to operate, the easiest to set up, and doesn't break. You know, they
Mhm.
say the difference between the BMW and the Toyota is with BMW, as long as you have a 10,000 kilometer test, you know, every 10,000 kilometers to take it to the shop for a test, the BMW will be okay. So a BMW was built to last if you treat it well. A Toyota is built to last if you treat it like shit. No matter what, you drive it this road, that road, test, no test, switch oil, change oil, nothing. It keeps driving. That's the type of machine we needed. So there was the first stage was obviously to do a lot of research and contact all the suppliers of machines that I know of, that we can buy the machines from. And obviously, we're not going on Alibaba and buying like from a trade guy in Alibaba. We're going directly to the factories that make the machines. That's a given. So not even through the agents. And so I found factories that I really like. They came to present their machines in our facility. So they brought the brochures, they brought everything. We see the specs, we see what is the minimum box size, what is the maximum box size, what is the weight of the machine, the size, how much electricity does it need. People don't know it, but in the US, most buildings still use like 220 volts. You know, they don't have, like in China, 380 volt is
Yeah, they
normal.
have the basic 110. So the three phase that we used to as a 380, like you, it's only 2020. I mean,
Yeah.
it's 220. Yeah, it's quite a big deal that one.
Yeah, people like who thinks about it, right?
Yeah.
But
It's
it's a
like
it's a
when you
big deal.
travel, when you travel another country, the last thing that you think about, well, if you are experienced traveler, you will do it. But if you are not experienced, the last thing that you mentioned, you say I have the I don't know, the cell phone recorder, the sorry, the cell phone
Yeah, the
to
charger,
what
the
the power
charger.
bank, the charger. I have the computer charger, and suddenly you end up having another. You know, when you try to plug, you figure out that okay, this is not the
Oh,
same plug. Same happened with the USA. I mean, when you
yeah.
get there, Well, we have the opposite experience. I remember on the past, not right now. Right now they fix it, but on the past, when you bought something from the USA, like for example, you bought a PlayStation and you was pretty excited to come to your country and plug it, and then suddenly, boom, you forgot that there are 120 or 110 volts. And yeah, the three phase from
And
there are really, really awful. I mean, 220, it's quite awful for industry.
they're still old. They're still old. The U.S.
Yeah.
The industrial world of the U.S. stopped in the 1980s. I think that was one of the big things that resonated with a lot of the business people in New Jersey was they felt left out. So they used to be the core packaging printing industry in the US, catering to all these different companies. And suddenly in the 80s, they say, okay, we can start exporting now, right? We can, I mean, not exporting, but moving work offshore. And a lot of those people, so a lot of old people are in there who their livelihood kind of was cut in half because now they only need to serve some small, catered, nuanced projects rather than like take the whole market. This is mostly because of inflation, the increasing of the US dollar price. The developed country versus the developing country, and they never managed to like they're not like China. China also had this problem recently, like 4 years ago, where China has transitioned into a developed economy almost. Like so many people are graduating from university. People who graduate from university do not want to go and work in factories. There's less labor around, so they obviously increase their prices. China also faced it's called this middle income crisis, right? Where your country is not high end enough to sell services, but it's not low end, so it can do production. And that's when China 4 or 5 years ago invested a lot of money into machine manufacturers that to invest and innovate new machines, better machines, fully automated machines. So you can solve that problem. So if before you needed 10 people to do one job, now you only need one person to do the job. And this person is an engineer, is someone with a lot of experience who has also a higher salary, right? Or you have two or three people, like one we call it one master and two assistants. So so China did an amazing job, and this factory is actually a result of that. So like 6 years ago, the Chinese government invested a lot of money in this factory, and they make a lot of machines. We even took a video. I was so excited because this factory is like 60,000 square
Yeah, I saw
meters.
the video. You were on the candy shop. You were
Yeah,
like,
I was
oh
like,
my
oh
God.
my God, look at
Let's
this.
take them all. Let's put them all together.
Yeah, and you have massive machines, and the machines that are making the machines, and oh my goodness, I was like, oh, I didn't stop walking. It was like 4 hours of a walk around the whole place. Here they make this cutting machine. Here they make the paper cutting machine. Here they make the gluing machine. In every location they make something else. Oh, it was incredible. So, but yeah, I needed to go there and first of all to tell them which machines they knew which machines I wanted, but I wanted to make sure that the machines work 100%. Um, and one of the things I realized, so like I was saying, the machine being unbreakable is super important. So the wiring had to be extremely clear. So any electrician, even understands a little bit, can go in and see exactly where to fix. If your machine has too many pieces, too many parts, too many tools, people get lost. It's overwhelming. So we needed a very, very simple machine. Um, then all the parts in the machine that can break easily within the first year, we want three replacements of. So the air pump, we have an additional air pump that can come. We have the different hooks that hold the paper as it gets rolled out. You have another two of them of each one. So you have a lot of spare parts that come with the machines. Obviously, we need to purchase it in advance, but it's good that we have it. Having a good, very clear rule sheet of how to use the machine. It's also very, very important, right? So there's a lot of stuff that I needed to go and check and talk just to make sure that this machine when I'm sending it into the US will not be too much. Now, people might ask, Hirsch, why'd you buy, like, because most of what I buy was semi-automated machines. So I bought a semi-automated card cutting machine. I bought the semi-automated box gluing machine and token sheets gluing machine, and and then the shrink wrap for the packaging and the for the boxes to put the scotch tape on them, right? So we have all these like 4 or 5 different machines that we purchased, and it's mostly semi-automated. This is a good question because first of all, we don't have the skilled labor to handle the heavy machines in the U.S. at the moment. So I wanted to have like very simple machines that anyone can operate and use. Second of all, the quantity, because you helped us launch this like announcement that we're opening a facility in the US. In the past 2, 3 months, we got a lot of feedback from people. See, I want in the US, I don't want to produce in the US, how much it will add, how price sensitive is our industry? That's a real question, right? So it seems like not a lot of people yet will be interested in and adding a lot of money to their costs. So there's a need of some hybrid model between China and the US to minimize the shipping and tariffs cost while maximizing the capabilities of pricing, right? And capabilities of everything. So that's why we decided to go with like semi-automated machines, easy to operate, can turn on, can turn off, no need to set up for 3, 4 hours.
Yeah,
And then
it's for
slowly
the
as it
amount of.
grows.
I mean, we ask for I don't remember if it's 2,000, 3,000 units, but for a semi-automatic, I think that amount, 3, 4, 5,000, it is actually good numbers. I mean, it will not take a lot of time to set up that kind
Correct.
of machinery.
But we want slowly to increase the capabilities of the US team until they're ready to handle a big machine. I think that's in the end of the day the biggest concerns that we have. Um, yeah, so very exciting stuff about the US.
That's
I'm
cool.
very excited to see what will happen with it, and we already having our first game that will be printed over there. So I will be sure to send it to some people,
Okay.
some big publishers that spoke to us about it. We also have so it's gonna be a fully made in the USA game. Hopefully by the end
Awesome.
of August, give or take. Um, yeah,
Well, I
so a
think
lot
that
of
that's
progress,
great
a lot of good
news.
stuff.
It will allow people to even sometimes it not just I mean, making a game in one country or the other, it may end up at the end of the day will not be that different. So I think that what people will look for is to make the game, whatever they do it on the USA or in China, whatever, to keep the same quality. I think by the end of the day, that's one thing that is really important for.
I will take a bit longer, just to expand on this point a little bit more, if you don't mind. But yeah, like when Trump came out, I had options. Where am I opening a new facility? Because you know that you need to diversify away from China. But do you go diversify in Vietnam, or do you go diversify in the US? This was a very tough question for me to decide. Obviously, I made my decision, right? And Vietnam is just another China, right? But China 20 years ago, the quality and capabilities are not that high, no matter what anybody tells you. The quality and capabilities in Vietnam will not be as high as in the US. Um, Unless you use like the Japanese printers, but they're already a little more expensive than Chinese, right? So, but let's say Vietnam and China will not have that much of a difference, anyways. Um, Now Vietnam will be okay. In 2, 3 years, Vietnam will not be okay anymore. So is Vietnam like in China? I know I invested a lot of money into the facility in China. A lot of money, a lot of time, a lot
A
of
lot of love.
thought, and
Don't remember that.
a
No,
lot of love.
you
Yeah,
don't have to remember that.
yeah.
It's
No,
an
but a lot
investment.
of love.
You
Yeah,
said it's an investment.
it was a big investment. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. So like, how much? Like, I need to learn a new language. Do I want to invest the same amount also in Vietnam, or should I come and invest the same amount already in the U.S.? Because why would you move to the U.S. to Vietnam to solve the U.S. problems, right? The rest of the
Yeah.
world doesn't have a problem with China. Only the U.S. has a problem with China. Okay, so what? You're gonna sacrifice your whole world and move to Vietnam in order to accommodate the U.S. for this period of time. Is a Vietnam really worth such a big investment? No, and
Yeah,
a lot of
on a second
yeah.
thought, let's say everything with all this tariff thing and everything is settled down, and it go back to normal, or well, it's something in the middle because I believe it's going to be something in the middle. Having a facility in the U.S., I mean, having one right next to China, it's pretty much the same. Actually, you are losing a
Exactly.
lot of things that are like logistic and everything that China already have all that solved. It's like you need to train everything all over again for, as you said, a country that is probably 20 years older than the other one. But what happened if you move part of the production to the US? Well, there's a big advantage there. You're on the US, you're already established on the I don't know 50-60% of the board game market it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you said, it's the right phrase. Why put a factory in another country to solve the problem from another country? So it's like a three countries problem, like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm moving away from China to get to the USA, but right next to China. So yeah,
To
it
Vietnam.
is
Yes.
it's nonsense. It's nonsense
I
actually.
mean,
It
there
sounds like
are
a solution.
two.
It sounds like a really it's not a solution. It sounds like a fix and let's move on. And what you're doing on the US, I think it's totally different. I mean, you're establishing a factory in the US, which I think is
Yes.
great, and I think it's huge actually.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope it's going to go well. We need the support of the industry as well. We need people who are interested in the US, even in a hybrid format, right? Just to get stuff going. The best solution will be if you are a crowdfunding campaign and you have 2,000 backers in the US and then 1,000 backers rest of the world. You make all the components in China, right? 2,000 copies, and then some components of the 2,000 copies they're going to the U.S. You produce in China, sent to the U.S. Makes a box in the U.S., saving on shipping costs, tariff costs, and all that stuff. So some sort of a hybrid model. The U.S. facility will also give us access to actual other packaging projects. So it's going to be a very, very interesting approach what we're going to have in the U.S. For Vietnam, listen, if you still want Vietnam, we do have factories over there that we outsource to in a similar fashion as what like Longpack and Meiji is doing, right? They're not investing $1-2 million in their facility in Vietnam, no matter what anybody says, right? All they do is they have an existing factory in Vietnam that does a good enough job, and then they go to that factory and they say, "This is our requirements. Try your best to follow it, yes or no," and then they source out the work to them. So we do have that kind of option also in Vietnam, but to be honest, in my eyes, like it's not so much worth it. I mean, we can do it if you want.
Yeah.
If tariffs go crazy again, it's possible, but I don't see any real advantage. It's not worth the risk, you know.
Okay. Well,
So
so
yeah,
we'll see
basically that's
what's
it for the update of the US.
okay. That's great. So anyway, thank you once again. As you might be aware by watching this and hearing this, is that we're doing this weekly, and the idea is to bring here topics that it will help board game designers to make their games. So if you have any doubt and if you want to say something, just comment. Remember to follow us. Remember to subscribe to the channels and well, yeah, contact us if you have a specific question that you want us to share here on the channel. Once again, thank you, Hersh, for your time. It is great. It is
Thank you,
always great to
Pablo.
hear what you're doing and what the company is doing. Okay,
A lot of work.
yeah, a lot of work. So, well, that's it for me. Thank you so much.